You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you into the Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir, Leigh's Path. So, Build 9 just dropped, and it's really just an update for Lucas, so they're going to be focusing on Lucas more. They're also going to be still updating the other characters' paths, so don't worry, everyone is going to be getting attention. But yeah, so let's jump right back into it. Let's see. I hope we can get to the new artwork of Leigh. That was, I saw a preview of that. Oh man, that's beautiful. But anyway, guys, let's jump right back into it. Please sit back and enjoy. I'm going to take you for the next 20 minutes, and let's go. Alright, okay. Looks like the meeting yesterday wasn't just for fun. That was definitely fun. We gotta do it again sometime. Leigh giggles at his childish enthusiasm, but Lucas and Leigh are ignoring him, focusing on me instead, their neutral expressions hiding what they're thinking. The atmosphere of having everyone together is warming and relaxing. It really does feel like I'm surrounded by a group of friends. I do have more classes today, so I can't stay around, but I'm sure there's someone else who has finished all their classes for the day. Guys? I don't go to my other classes anyway. I was going to the library to study. It's quiet there if you know where to go. Wait, that's Lucas. I don't want to do that again. I don't go to my other classes anyway. I was going to the library to study. It's quiet there if you know where to go. I'm finished for the day, but I do have to do a quick pickup. I have to go pick up my sister. She has soccer club on Wednesdays, and she'll be done soon. I don't like to leave her to walk home alone. You can come, though. I think you'll like her. There'll be two of us to keep your mind off things. Might help. His tone of voice doesn't sound sure, but he's giving me his toothy smile regardless, its warmth reaching his eyes. A look of surprise crosses Lucas's face like he hadn't been expecting Leigh to smile, or maybe just noticed something I didn't. The confused look on his face suggests the former. Plus, I promise I'd tell you about my sister today after class. What better way than to meet her? I'm all cleared out for the day, too. Was just gonna head over to the gym for a swim, though. Well, thought if you came along, though, Wallace. Not often I get to show off my swimming abilities. That's what we otters were built for, you know. Let me see if I can raise the text speed. There you go. A little faster. I feel like it isn't his swimming skills he wants to show off. Looks like you got a lot of options. I'm gonna head off to get some food before the next class. I'll text you later to make sure you're doing good, okay? Yeah, thanks. I'm sure I'll be fine, though. I bet you will, too. Doesn't mean I don't get to be worried. And with that, she skips up the stairs. She seems to always have this positive aura about her. It's infectious. I already miss having her presence in the group. So, Wallace, who you going with? Oh, I'm sorry, we're going Leigh. Oh, hold up. Guys, let me make a quick save right here. That way I can choose the different boys. Alrighty. Follow Leigh to get his sister. Oh, actually, no, their path does start near the beginning of the game with a choice, so we'll see. Follow Leigh to get his sister. You don't mind if I tag along with you, Leigh? Of course not, kid. I offered after all. Plus, I did offer to tell you more about her, so I'll tell you on the way. Damn, I was hoping I could snag him up for myself, but it looks like he's into the stoic type. What? Are you into the protective daddy type? Looks like one of those, doesn't he? Leigh just glares at Oscar with a sidelong stare, but Oscar's smile only grows. His tongue is lighthearted. His tone is lighthearted. His tone is lighthearted, so I don't think he's actually upset, just teasing the two of us. Yeah, I'm kidding. Lighten up, man. He even pats Leigh on the shoulder as he tries to smooth things over. Looks like Leigh considers shuffling out of Oscar's reach before he eventually resigns himself to it with a sigh. I figured as much. I have a feeling you don't exactly need a kid to satisfy yourself anyway. Oscar's grin widens even more and his eyes look like they're twinkling. You make me out to be some kind of predator stalking his prey. Guess I do look big, don't I? Their banter brings a smile to my face. While they don't get along, it's not hostile enough to be upsetting. Instead, it's just funny. But it feels like something's off, as if something's missing. Oh, right, Lucas. There's no way he wouldn't have commented on what Oscar just said. It's just begging to be latched onto. Looking around, I can see Lucas isn't even with the rest of us anymore. Instead, he's slowly walking up the stairs. He catches my eyes and stops to turn towards me. I'll head off to the library, then. I don't exactly like being here. Oh, right. Sorry, I've been keeping you here. No, you're fine. Believe me. Just focus on getting better, all right? I'll message you later. Okay, I'll be ready for it. I'm already feeling better. Thanks. His smile grows ever so slightly, but he looks somber. I think he wanted me to come with him to the library. It must be lonely there all by yourself. I would invite him, but I think he wants some time alone. I'll have to make it up to him later. He gives me a tiny wave as he heads up the stairs. His dark furred paw is quivering slightly, a sign that he's not doing as well as he's letting on. A twinge of guilt bubbles in my chest, but I push it down. He'll be all right. My attention is suddenly grabbed by a firm grip on my shoulder. I swing my head around only to come face to face with Oscar's grinning face. Well, as face to face as I can with how much he towers over me. I'm gonna head off to the gym. I'll catch you around. He gives me a firm pat on the back, the impact almost knocking me forward. There's a flash of worry on the otter's face before going back to normal once he sees I'm all right. Regaining my composure, I'm able to reply to him with only a light flushing into my ears. Yeah, I'll see you around. That brightens his grin even more, his wide face barely able to contain his massive smile as he skips up the stairs. That leaves Leigh and myself alone. There's a return to comfortable silence that always seems to permeate whenever Leigh is around, a secure and safe feeling. You ready to head off, kid? Or do you need to sit down for a bit more? Leigh's deep voice rumbles next to my ear, sending a shiver up my spine. He's standing right behind me, a look of concern covering his face. Don't we need to pick up your sister? I'm going for a teasing tone to try and lighten up the mood, but it comes out sounding forced. We left class already. We have some time. He gently grabs my arm, his other hand lightly rubbing against my back in a slow and relaxing motion. As tempting as it is to let Leigh dote on me, I know it would be unfair to keep him worrying. I really am feeling much better now. I can even head home. It won't be a problem. No, I'm not going to leave you alone. Not after all that. There's no hesitation in Leigh's reply. His eyes firm and resolute. His grip on my arm even tightens. After a moment, though, the possum's eyes soften, and he removes his hands from my arm and back. Unless you want me to. I'm not going to keep you here by force. Worry and concern are plastered all over his expression. Fear for my well-being. Even though otters might see it as a neutral or stoic, just spending a little time with him really allows you to see all the little hints of emotion he shows. His furrowed brow, his soft eyes, flattened ears, and lastly his tight lips. They tell me everything he's feeling. It makes my heart race and ears flush. I've never had someone who wasn't my parents treat me like this. No, I want to, I swear. I just don't want to be a burden on you. That causes his eyes to widen, his ears to erect upwards, the insides of them turning a slightly darker shade of pink. You're not a burden. His normally calm composure breaks, his voice more hasty than usual. There's no fury there, but more like a fear or indignation. His outburst leaves me speechless, and there's a palpable silence between us. Noticing my shock, Leigh's ears flatten, and his face returns to his calmer expression. You're not a fucking burden. Trust me, she'll love to meet you. He looks around in an uncharacteristic show of nervousness before letting out a sigh and returning to meet my stunned stare. And I'd enjoy it too. Cracking that newly formed stoic mask, he gives me a soft smile. It's different from his usual smile. It's more vulnerable and gentle. It's enough to jog me out of my stunned petrification, and I give him a slow nod. Walking past me towards the stairs, Leigh gives a nudge with his head to indicate that he wants me to follow him. As we walk down the familiar alleyway, the silence between us still lingers. Leigh's outburst has left a strong tension. After a couple more steps, I'm able to gather up the courage to ask him what's on my mind. So, what was that about? It's nothing. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. A beat of quiet agony passes before Leigh follows up. My younger sister used to call herself a burden a lot. You remind me a lot of her. Does she still call herself one? Not anymore. What's she like? You seem to be really affectionate towards her, if you don't mind me implying so. He gives a soft chuckle. It's warm, and the tension that was lingering around us melts away. It was good music. She's great, sweet, energetic, and kind. His normally firm green eyes are soft and filled with love. There's no need for words to describe how close the two of them are. And a brat, but I love her. She sounds amazing. She is. I see a lot of her in you. Really? Yeah, you're like a flower bud or a little egg. Okay. I'm unsure if I should be offended by that or not. Leigh doesn't seem like the insulting type, but it feels a little condescending. I don't mean that in a bad way. You're so pure, not like Oscar. I noticed you're always glaring at him. Did he do something? He's fine. He just has ulterior motives. Is this about all the flirting he does? So you noticed. I wasn't exactly sure. He's so casual to the point where I'm not even sure if he's just being friendly or being flirty. I don't dislike him. He's just manipulative. He knows what he's doing. I don't think he's bad. He helped me on the first day of school and has been really nice. He's very sincere most of the time. Leigh raises his eyebrow at that last bit suspiciously, but he doesn't press me on it. I'm not blind to what he's doing, I'm just a bit overwhelmed sometimes. He's so forward. He opens his mouth as if to say something, but only shuts it a moment later. He shakes his head, grinning to himself like he'd just discovered something amazing. Shit, right. You're not a kid, I'm sorry. I almost jump as he playfully whacks his tail against my hip, a low rumbling laugh quietly resounding next to me. Turning my head towards him as we get closer to the end of the alleyway, I can't help but be surprised by how different Leigh is when it's just me and him. He's so much more open and caring. It's really sweet. So, you interested? In what? Oscar. He's being pretty forward that he wants to fuck you. Everyone knows it. Everyone? Yeah, Lily definitely knows, and Lucas told Oscar that he's not the fallback guy before you came to class today. Of course he said that. That explains the hostility when I came to class today. It feels so long ago now. So, are you? It's a simple question, but it raises some complex feelings. No. Not really. Don't get me wrong, he's really attractive and he's super nice, but... I stumble over my words, sounding like an absolute mess and feeling like an insecure teenager. Thankfully, Leigh gives me all the time I need to form my words. But he's just a bit too forward. I'm not sure I want something that casual, at least not for my first time. It's a small reaction, but Leigh's ears flicking stands out like a lighthouse with his reserved expression. Excuse me. You want your first time to be special? Well, yeah, who doesn't? Oscar has experience, which I'm sure would help, but I'm worried it won't really mean much. Leigh doesn't respond to that. There's only the sound of our pattering footsteps and the sound of other students using the same walkway. God, my stomach is growling like crazy for some reason. Eventually, the silence is broken by an unlikely sound. Leigh laughing. It's warm and filled with an unexpected amount of emotion, more than I'm used to hearing from him. It catches me off guard, and I nearly trip but catch myself, narrowly dodging a repeat of Monday's incident. Looking back over at Leigh, I can see his green eyes are looking up and away. They're distant but full of warmth, looking nostalgic as he stares at the clouds. You remind me of her a lot. Before I can even reply, he places his hand on my shoulder. His grip is gentle, a stark contrast to the texture of his hands. Even against my shirt, I can hear the friction between the fabric and his skin. Just don't get caught up on the small stuff, okay, kid? Just make sure you do what makes you happy. Even though we're in an alleyway, we're certainly not alone. While not a popular path, there's still a decent amount of students using this as a shortcut. But Leigh doesn't falter, even as we reach the end of the alleyway and onto the sidewalk of a busy street. It's like he's completely unaffected by the world around him, unashamed to show his affection. I, however, don't have such fortitude, and the eyes of all the people near us are almost as terrifying as my dream. Noticing my dilemma, Leigh pulls away with one final pat, picking up his pace to a regular walk now that we're separated. Quickening my pace to keep up, I can't help but feel like I should breach the topic we set up earlier. So, your sister plays soccer? More like she's obsessed with it. She's constantly trying to watch it or play it. She's a real handful, too rowdy. Why are we picking her up anyway? It catches him off guard, his face shifting to a more serious expression. It's only a bit different than his normal one, but it gives off a threatening vibe. It reminds me of the first time I saw him in class. I don't want her to walk home alone. She could get hurt. There's been a nagging feeling that's been bugging me for a bit, and while it's not my place to ask, this feels like the most appropriate time to bring it up. Do you have any other family? 1 second, guys. Oh, God. There's an itch on my back. I can't get it. Okay, I got it, I think. You always bring up your sister, but you never bring up any parents. I don't mean to intrude, but I just thought I should ask. Leigh seems to sink deep into thought, staring down at the ground as we walk. I can't imagine what's going through his head. We walk in silence once more, the daylight above us still strong, even if it's beginning to drop down to the horizon. It's not until after we turn off this central street onto a more quiet side road that Leigh begins speaking again. She's all I got left. Well, she's all I still consider family. Despite the millions of questions I have, it's best to stay silent. Leigh's moving at his own pace, and there's no need to rush him or force him if he doesn't want to say. My father is still alive, but he's dead to me. He says it so plainly, so unassumingly. It's almost comical how insignificant he makes it sound. But I don't know his circumstances. I can't pass any kind of judgment. Yeah, I'm betting Leigh is actually trans. That's what I'm betting. Do you two live by yourselves? Yeah, I got custody of her when I turned 18. We live in a small apartment. It's not a big thing. It's not big, but it works. Like, I think that might be why his name is Pink. Like a little tell. You can afford that in college? For now. I've been saving money for as long as I could work. It won't last, though. That's why I'm here. To get somewhere better for her. The mood darkens even as the sunlight pours down on us. The quiet street creating a melancholic atmosphere. The distant sound of people back on the previous street enhances the sullen mood. She's been through a lot, and I want to make sure things stay good for her. Leigh's staring at the ground now, his demeanor a lot less rigid than usual, lacking the confidence he usually exudes. It feels almost like a cry for help, and my body moves before I can think or stop it. My hand reaches out to him. The soft white fur is a stark contrast to the black of his leather jacket. Placing my hand on his shoulder, just as he had done to me, I want to give him some kind of reassurance back, but I'm not given a chance to say anything. Whoa, what the fuck? Before I can think, a thunderous clap runs through my head, and my brain isn't able to process any kind of information. All I can feel, my body's reacting instinctively in beginnings of a throbbing headache. After a few moments, which were likely all within a second, I'm able to process what's happening. The first thing I feel is pain. Suddenly thrust back into full consciousness, I'm kneeling on the ground, holding my face tightly as pain throbs throughout my head. There's a sickly, flowing feeling running through the front of my face, blood slipping through the gaps in my furred fingers, my white fur darkening to a shade of red. Shit! Fuck! Kid, I'm sorry! Jesus Christ, I'm sorry! Leigh's scuffling about with something next to me, but I'm still trying to process the last couple of seconds. The pain in my nose surges once more, but it's less intense than before, and I'm finally able to understand what just happened. After touching Leigh's shoulder, he suddenly thrust his elbow back. It crashed right into my face with a lot of strength behind it. The pain itself was finally shrinking down into a dull ache. I don't think any serious damage is done, but blood is still flowing, but not as strongly. Here, kid, take it! I can barely see through the water in my eyes, but the only thing I'm able to make out is a sea of red. It takes me a moment to realize it's Leigh's red shirt. Huh? My voice is nasally and muffled from my hands, but thankfully still understandable. I try to lift my head and look up at Leigh, but a surge of pain forces me to keep my head low. To stop the blood, I don't have any tissues or a bandana on me, so just use that. No, I can't. It'll be completely ruined. Just use it. It'll be fine. It's red. I've got tons more of these. My work ruins at least one of these a week. Before I can argue, he grabs my wrists firmly, but he's careful not to be too rough. He pulls them away slowly, and I can hear drops of blood pattering against the ground. Looking at my hands, I can see the fur around my pads is tainted a deep red. They're going to take a lot of cleaning when I get home to not stay pink. Past them, I can see drops of blood on the pavement. There's a lot less than I had been expecting. Only a couple of splotches even as more drips down. Here! Leigh tries to lift my head, but a whine of pain causes him to stop. I can't see his expression, but the way he's hesitating tells me everything. Kid, take it! His voice is a swirling pool of concern and fear. There's even a tremble in his voice. Not able to stand the guilt, I swallow my pride and take the makeshift towel, pressing it against my nose without another word. There's a surge of pain as I apply pressure, but it quickly subsides back to a smaller throbbing ache. After a few more seconds of recovering, I attempt to get back up on my feet. Leigh quickly shuffles over to my side. With his usual tenderness, he guides me to a standing position. Even afterward, he keeps supporting my body, a hand on either shoulder as he stands by my side. I'm sorry, kid. I didn't mean to hit you. It's okay. No, it isn't. I was jumping, but that doesn't excuse almost breaking your shit in. There's so much emotion in Leigh's voice, a lot of pain and anger, but not directed at me. He's being unfair to himself. Accidents happen. Leigh, it's really okay. I know you wouldn't hurt me on purpose. You're too nice. He relaxes at the sound of that, though he never takes his arms off me. He seems to have gotten most of his composure back, at least, his face returning to a much calmer expression. I used to get into a lot of fights, especially when I was younger. I've tried to grow out of it, but some habits die hard. There's a familiar silence. I'm not quite sure what to say or if there's anything that I can say at all. Leigh doesn't give me much of a chance before he continues. I promise you, I will never, ever hurt you again. Let's get you to the club, kid. I'll check up on you when we're there, but from the look of it, your nose seems pretty fine. Come on, music. Kind of worried about this music. There, okay. Alright. That's good. I think I'll trust your judgment on that. I've taken care of my sister a lot, and I've gotten in enough fights to know what a broken nose looks like. Yours is not one of them. There's a sense of comfort and safety as Leigh continues to hold my shoulders, unashamed of what people might think. I thought before that it felt like I had gotten a parent, but now more than ever, it feels like I gained an older brother or a close friend. I wonder if that's what he sees me as, too. He always compares me to his sister, after all. Oh, man, did not expect that. God, Leigh has got some kind of past. All these people do, all of them. Arriving at the club, I can see it's only a large single-roomed building next to a soccer field. Looks like it's just a place for the team to gather and hang out before and after practice. The soccer field itself is filled with around 30 kids, some doing drills while others look like they're playing a practice game against each other. Grabbing my phone, careful not to smear blood all over it, I quickly check the time. It's almost 4:25. We stopped for longer than I thought, especially with Leigh doting on me every block. Guiding me towards one of the benches, Leigh sets me down softly. The pain has mostly subsided, but this is putting Leigh at ease. so I don't say anything. Let me see. I'm sure it's fine, but it won't hurt to check. Leaning forward to avoid any potential drippage, I slowly pull the cloth away from my face, and I hear Leigh throw it into the bin next to us. There's some moments of hesitation, but after a few seconds of nothing, I lean back to my normal posture. Seems like the bleeding has stopped at least. Still fucked you up, though. I won't do it again, I promise. I look over at Leigh, and what I see makes my head spin. Damn, dude. Fucking hell. Yes! Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, thumbnail. How you doing? Lee's standing in front of me shirtless. He's not wearing anything anymore. Even his jacket is just slung over his shoulder. He's looking around at the trash can he just disposed of his shirt into. Not a hint of shame at how exposed he is. My eyes scan over him. His stomach's fur is a color lighter of shade than his arms, matching his face. God, it's fucking hot. Hell yeah. Alright, guys, I'm gonna leave you with this image. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!